What are we starting?
Good afternoon. We're just getting settled in here, so everyone will quiet down.
I'm sure it's louder.
It's okay, it takes time. And for $100, the lucky winner is. Oh, why does everyone want $100? You know, we could sell houses and make a lot more than $100. We're gonna get started. Claire's
I tried,
finishing up
but
his
nobody
calls. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to your Monday, March 11th meeting. Happy Ramadan. Happy Spring Forward. It started yesterday with the new moon.
Yesterday.
He's just double checking. He says, "This is my fact checker over here." It started with the new moon yesterday, right? Oh, tomorrow. How many people are saying Ramadan Mubarak already? I guess it depends which cycle, because the new moon was for sure yesterday. So it depends on where you follow, I guess. Yeah. And spring forward. I didn't see any posts about spring forward. Usually we see a bunch of posts.
Oh my gosh, I saw a real estate agent say spring forward, and I actually I'm losing an hour of sleep from one of our agents.
I only saw it after though. Usually we see it before, but it kind of
I saw it that night. Yeah.
Mom reminded you. Everyone who had Hub 21 set up got reminders, but the reminders went out Sunday afternoon. I feel like it's a little.
That was a little late.
I mean, like, you have to change your microwave. That's the only clock you have to change now, right? Like your oven and microwave.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we all a little bit tired, and it's March break as well. So maybe people are watching from home. Do we know how many people are online? I think it'll be quiet this week because of all those things.
We have about 20.
Claire, do you normally see market slowdowns during Ramadan or March break or that kind of thing?
Fortunately, we usually see about a 10% drop in activity when it's during Ramadan. So I'm not sure if that represents the population that celebrate that or not, but I usually see about a 10% slowdown.
Yeah. Yeah, that's normal. So we're in Toronto, Canada. That's part of it. How was the weekend? Did anyone do open houses or how showings or how is your feeling? What's happening out there? No open houses. How's any like offers, multiple offers? We know it's busy because we can see it through the office. We type up a lot of offers. You did get one?
Woo!
Okay. And
same day, right?
Yeah. So same day listed, you got an offer, and it's been listed before.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's a good news, right?
Okay.
But she has to list a house next month, so it's
like the buyer has to.
Okay, good.
That's okay.
Condition upon
Okay.
selling a house, we can escape clause, of course. So,
Okay.
but the price was not okay with the sellers.
Okay.
So I might get another one to do.
There you go.
Did you reduce the price when you relisted too?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so it's not just the market.
750, now it's 680.
Better. Good.
That's better.
But it makes sense. You listed it and got some activity on it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, about 520.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, market's picked up since you had it listed.
With little inklings of spring market coming then.
Yeah, so everybody is a 3-bedroom condo.
3-bedroom condo. It's in Scarborough.
2 bathroom and unit.
And
For
it's,
680. Not bad.
and it's gonna sell this time. It's gone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so upgrade done, the backyard, maybe done, right? And
Okay.
Painting job, so.
Good.
It's a redo. Sorry, redo. Mechanized sense. Yeah.
It's a townhome.
It's a townhouse, 3-bedroom. It's big. Anyone online say anything about open houses? No. Okay. Well, what are you seeing in the market, Claire? Are you seeing?
So that's pretty good. So you got a townhouse in Scarborough for less than $700,000, right?
Yeah.
So that's pretty good, yeah.
They're ready.
So I didn't see a whole lot of open house signs out in Durham there. Did you guys see a lot of open house signs in Markham? Yeah. Markham has
Markham
quite
you
a
did?
few and Scarborough as well. And is Markham still going crazy with 1,000 signs for one open house? Right, that's still going on, so, okay. Thought they were gonna stop that. Nelson, what do you think? The appointments were so-so this week? I found this week a little different there. I think, well, this week, I guess it's March break, so I'm not sure what's gonna happen this week, but last week, towards the end of the week, we did see a bit of a slowdown, I thought too, right? So I wonder whether people are taking the kids out of school and doing stuff. I don't know. Was the airport busy or people travel this time of year? So
I
the
was
kids-
traveling last week and it was pretty busy. Yeah.
Santa went to the airport. Traffic is quieter today, so I think people are away.
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay. So the stats themselves, I'll just go right into the stats
Yeah,
and
yeah.
get right into this. So we've
Mhm.
got, as of March 10th, so we've got 14,079 listings as of last night. So that's gone up,
Nice.
so that's gone up there, because last week it was about 13,400. So we got about 600 active listings in the last week. So there should be a little more, if you got buyers out there, they're waiting for product to come to the market, then there should be more product there. The sales themselves aren't, well, let's stick to that. So we've got 14,079 active listings, 7,084 freehold, 6,000, almost 7,000 are condos. So it's pretty much 50-50, right?
Yeah.
I checked, I look for, it's not scientific, it's not something I'm gonna report in the newspapers, but I just want to see how many of those properties, those active listings, how many of them are not owner occupied. So you go to Stratus or you go to Realm, you can search for properties, you can put in there not owner occupied. So of the 14,000 active listings, I come up with 7,700 are not owner occupied. Now, there's a lot of parking spots in there. I don't know how many parking lots, so again, it's not scientific, it's just sort of a general overview, but there's a lot of parking lots that will be vacant anyways, right? And stuff like that. But of the vacant ones, of the freeholds, of the 7,000 active listings on freeholds, 3,100 are not owner occupied. On condominiums, there's 7,000 condominiums. How many you think? Take a guess. How many of those are not owner occupied of the 7,000, right?
70%.
Yeah, it's about 4,500, right? So more than 50%
Mhm.
are not owner occupied, which goes back to what we were saying back in 21, 22, when the market was hot. We were saying that 1 in 4 properties were being sold to people that were buying second properties. They're not owner occupied, so that's all. It could be tenanted, it could be vacant, so, right? It could be a parking lot, right? So it's just a rule of thumb. It's just something telling you what's going on with the market itself. So it does tell me though that a lot of investors are selling their properties and they're trying to unload wherever they bought. So if you got clients that did buy during the peak, and everybody did, because during the peak, like, was it 21? Everybody, 22? It's 22 was the big year, right?
21, 20, yeah. So the
21 was the big year, 22 was so,
beginning.
23 not so bad. Okay, so 21 was the big year. You need to contact those folks because maybe they're not happy today. Right, so that seems to be going on. As far as sales go, so the first 10 days in March last year, we had 2,200 sales. This year, the first 10 days, unfortunately, we have 2,000 sales. We're actually down 10%. So sales are down 10%. If I split it, freeholds and condos, sales for freeholds are actually down 6% for the first 10 days. And condominiums are down 17% for the first 10 days. And I'm talking about condominiums here because I'm talking to agents who have sellers who are trying to sell their condominiums and they're not selling. Anybody here? Anybody here have condominiums that it's not selling right now or slower? Anyway, so this is what's going on. The condominium market is on a bit of a flux right now, I believe. So that's what's going on there. As far as the properties that did sell, I just did a quick little check. So we've got the sales, let's say 2,000 sales. 950 of those sales, almost 50% of those sales sold for over asking. None of those properties sold for over 30% over asking, and about 134 of the ones sold about 20% above, between 0 and 100%. So that tells me that the strategy of underpricing, even though I just said the market is slow a little bit, for pricing, looks like the engineered pricing are still working. So if you're trying to price under asking to generate multiple offers, that strategy seems to be working still.
Doesn't that also mean that half of them though are selling for under?
Yeah, but I think that half are selling for under, that's correct, but I think that's just not strategic pricing. Okay, like you've got clients, everybody has clients, you tell them, hey, your property's worth $1 million. But I want to price it at $899. to generate multiple offers, and they look at you, and you got three heads, I'm not gonna give the property away.
Yeah.
Anybody have that happen? That happens all the time. They're telling you how to do the business, right? So anyway, so 50%.
Well, we had a listing last week. We priced it like 400,000 under what the client wanted. And that's because we knew we were about 200K from where it probably should be. We priced it at 999. There was about 40 showing and 2 offers. It's not sold yet, but it got enough activity in that 1 week where the client's a little bit satisfied with having something versus just sitting there and having no showings, no action. So it's not done yet, but a lot quicker than waiting for 30 days for the same amount of showings.
On the lease side there, we've got 14,355 active listings. There's 5,000 are freehold, 9,000 are condo. As far as the leases themselves go, they're actually also down about 11%. Condominiums are actually down 3%. I can't believe this number, but freehold leases are down 25% from last year, first 10 days. So does anybody have any houses that they're trying to lease that maybe are sitting there? I'm getting that feedback. Are you getting that, Nelson, all from leases
I'm
for
seeing
houses?
a lot of basements. Like people don't really want the basement. They want the whole house or the main level. So that freehold category might have a lot of basements in there too.
You've got to pay attention to what the market's doing, is what Chris was saying there as well. So even though the sales themselves for February, we've got them market watch, the sales themselves were actually up 17.9%. But February this year had 29 days. If you take 29 days versus 28 days, it's actually up 12% rather than almost 18. Prices are interesting. Even though the units are up, if I take a 416, a 416 detached house this year versus last year, the prices dropped 3.5%. 3.5% for a freehold 416. For a townhouse, it's dropped 3.4%. For a condo townhouse, it's dropped 0.4%. So about the same. The reason why I'm talking about condominium is I was talking to an agent last week. He's got a property that's not selling, been in the market for 30 days. Don't quite understand what's going on in the market, but this is what's happening, that the prices have changed for sure, right? So you got to understand what's going on in the market, and you got to adjust the prices.
We're going to talk about semis there because those are all down, but semi-detached are actually up 2.8. So some of the headlines we're going to talk about today is saying people are sort of shifting where their budget is. So before you could get a detached in Toronto, now they're shifting their budget to maybe a semi in Toronto. So we're kind of seeing that in the prices right now, which is unusual because normally you don't see semis increase. You see that being last.
The headlines, I just do Google headlines. You guys do that? I have what's called Google Alerts. And I go to Google Alerts and I say to it, every time that somebody writes an article about Toronto real estate, send me the article. So I get all kinds of articles every day. So I don't have to scour the Google for information. It comes to me, right? And I just have to read it and print it out. But I thought I'd just do the headlines of all the different people and how they write and how they spin things. And the headlines are always fun, right?
Because remember, February's up 17%. So this is what all the headlines got as part of the market watch.
So the Globe and Mail says that a moody February in Toronto real estate market after a busy start to 2024. Okay, so a moody February. B&M Bloomberg, Toronto home sales up in February from last year as consumer eye rate cuts. Are you guys still waiting for the rate cuts? Is that still a conversation? Everybody's waiting for the rate cuts. If you got buyers waiting and waiting for rate cuts,
Yeah.
Right. And everybody here, what's your opinion? We've spoken about this many times. What's your idea of rate cuts? Quarter point max, right? And we did the exercise. I mentioned this last week. Did the exercise? It was a small mortgage, but the exercise on a small mortgage about, let's say, $200,000. The difference of a quarter point represents about $17 a month. So you know, so it doesn't really sort of shake out the way that you want to shake it out. Another one here says buyers re-enter the GTA housing market in February. Another one says Toronto home sales up from February. That's fine. Another one here, Toronto detached homes saw a 20% price drop since the pandemic. Bidding wars return to the GTA's housing market, heats up back again. So they're talking about that. Toronto home sales up in February. Last year's consumers eye rate cuts. Anyway, so it goes up and down, up and down. You can have pretty much an article for everything that you want. It's Tales from the Street. Did you do that? You want to do that? Or?
I think it's good that you start talking about it. Yeah.
Familiar with it?
Yep.
You have clients that are over leveraged. Anybody have a client that's over leveraged? You know what I'm talking
If you
about?
don't, you will soon, so you.
Everybody
better
knows,
shout to your
everybody knows what I'm
clients.
talking about. So we get paid, okay? We get paid to help our clients. We don't get paid just to put a property on the market and hope it sells and bring a buyer and blah, blah, blah. You got to have negotiating skills and understand what's going on. We had a couple of cases in last weeks or so, and you got to be where it's happening. We had one case didn't go the way I wanted to do, but it didn't go the way I wanted it to, but ended up the way I wanted it to. So we had a property that was over leveraged. I told the agent, go ahead and take the listing. If you sell the listing, make it conditional upon the lawyer's approval. And then if you do get the offer, then you're going to talk to the sellers, talk to the lenders, and negotiate the fee.
The lawyers will do this, though.
Lawyers are you. I mean, if the lawyer doesn't do it, depends.
Somebody has. to.
Depends. You got, okay, somebody asked me years ago, says, you know the name of a good lawyer? I said, yeah, here's my lawyer, my name. Oh, what's the charge? It's $400 an hour. Oh, no. I mean, oh, you mean you need a cheap lawyer? You don't want a good lawyer, you want a cheap lawyer. So what Kari just said, you get the lawyer to do it for you. Depends whether you've hired a good lawyer or a cheap lawyer.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
because some guys do it $350 and all they're doing is just give it to their clerk, and their clerk just stamps some papers and they close the deal. But you want somebody that's strong. If they're not strong, you have to be strong. So in this case here, it was underpriced. We got Phil Bradshaw involved, who's a king of the hill, and he says he couldn't do anything. So we gave up on it, but the buyer was bullheaded. The buyer said, no, we're going to close anyways. Even though we told him, like, don't pack your truck until you get the keys, because we don't know whether it's going to close or not. Anyways, the seller themselves got involved, and they got involved with B lenders and someone. They worked out some kind of deal that they allowed the sale to happen, and this guy's going to pay them money after the fact. Deal closed. Right? Another case, somebody phones up and said they have a listing, and then they get a letter in the mail from the lender saying that you've got 30 days to pay up or we're taking possession of the property. So the agent just put up their hands as unfinished with it. Right? She's not going to phone call, not return calls, not going to get paid. It's over leveraged, not going to do anything. We get a call from the buyer. Buyer says, trying to get a hold of your agent, trying to buy this property. Agent doesn't return our calls. You know why? So the suggestion was, don't tell us that you want to put an offer. Who cares? You want to put an offer? Put an offer in. You know, getting that like to the buyer, put an offer in. It's not our buyer, another agent. Just don't cry saying that your client won't do this, won't put an offer, get it in writing, register the offer. So we did. We took that offer, and the agent went, what's going on? He says, okay, now you're going to phone your lawyer, and you're going to tell your lawyer that negotiate these things. I think it went down that way, or do we do it? The lawyer did it. Yeah. Lawyer phones the lender. Lender and the seller work it out. They work out a payment plan. We sell the property. Bang. So this is what you're getting paid for. This is not, you know, these are the things, right? Another one.
Another one.
We said make a conditional upon the lawyer's approval. And then we sent it to the lawyer. Lawyer comes back and says, yeah, it's fine. And I said, wait a minute, what did you do here? What says conditional upon lawyer? Did you tell the lawyer that we have the letter from the lender saying that, hey, there's a problem here? Oh, I didn't mention that part. Well, I think it's a good idea. That's why it's conditional upon lawyer. So we've done that, and I'm not sure if that deal got saved or not. I mean, I say yes, that deal got saved. Only because of what the agent did. Otherwise, if you had just thrown up your hands and give it up, and that's it, then that's it. So my point here is that this is what we're here for, to help our clients, help them negotiate, whether negotiating with the lender or the lawyer or what are we doing, you got to make sure you're on top of it. That's my thing. And in today's market, anybody that's been around in the old days, this is common news. This is normal. But if you've only been licensed in the last 5 years, then this is all weird and odd, right? But you can still do things.
But come and talk to us as well. So if you're in that situation, you don't know where to go, just come and talk to any of us, especially Nelson and Claire. They've seen this a million times over and over. So just come to us. We can help you.
And what happens, okay, you go to the lenders, you say, well, I know we're over leveraged and we want to do this, you want to do that. Until you got an offer in your hand, you got nothing. You're just talking, you're wasting time. So we always tell the guys, just put it on the market, get it sold, make it conditional upon lawyer's approval, and then we'll start negotiating. Now we got a piece in our hand. It's a hard number, and we can go. But to try to negotiate without having an offer, it's impossible.
Do you feel like you want to talk now, or you want to usually save you to the end? But if you've been sitting here quiet, so we'll do a little summary from Chris Leader today as well, while our energy is still high.
Well, it's hot. Yeah. I mean, I've got a lot to say because I don't know if you guys noticed, I was gone last week, but I was actually at my first global Century 21 conference in Vegas. I don't know if any of you guys attended that. I don't know if you guys them. It's the Century 21 conference that's like global. So I think like all the countries were there, like Australia was there, Japan was there, like everybody was there. So it was a really cool conference for me to go to. I don't know. I got lots to teach. Do we want to do Chris Leader or want some points from 121?
2 years.
121. Okay. So I went to a few interesting sessions. The US does a lot different than us, but at the end of the day, it is very similar. But one of the sessions I went to, he was just talking about how to find business. And he was saying these days, everyone's trying to get really creative on how they find clients. But at the end of the day, there really is only 6 ways to find clients, which is referrals and past clients. That's probably everyone's number one. Open houses is the other one, to find clients, not to sell the home. So a lot of people come in, especially new agents, they think that they're doing these open houses to sell the property, but really you're there to find buyer clients or even seller clients. Farming, which we talk about all the time. Farming was one of the big ones, of course, where you're sending out flyers, you're doing community events, you're getting your name known in a specific like postal code, a specific neighborhood. The other one, of course, is your sphere of influence. For sale by owners and online. So those are the only 6 ways that you can get business, or the only 6, these people, this guy has been in the business. I think he was like 30 plus years. So obviously he came with a little bit of wisdom, but then when I look back at it, I'm like, yeah, those are really the 6 ways to find business. So if you're sitting here trying to figure out all these creative ways to go find clients, those would be the ones to go after. They also did a really cool thing, which I appreciated, especially for us realtors. We have ADHD when it comes to training, I find, but they did this thing called C21 Talks. They tried to make it like a TED Talks kind of style, but each person only had 12 minutes to go up there and talk, which is a lot. It's not a lot of time to get out a lot of content, but surprisingly, they got out quite a bit. So the first girl we watched, she was a social media girl. I did an 1.5-hour session and I was like, man, I could have probably crushed it in 12 minutes like this girl did. But she talked about how she found followers and gained some business. And it was all the stuff I tell you guys about by just posting all your behind the scenes, what you guys are up to, preparing for listing appointments, your personal life, and really just like leveraging social media just to show what you're doing already. So not going out there and making content, trying to just come up with content, but of the stuff that we're already doing behind the scenes, writing offers, all that stuff to give people an inside look, relating to the viewer and posting you. So she made a big thing about posting yourself, because a lot of us people that are scared of the social media world want to just post like just listed, just sold, tips to buying houses, and all these curated Canva posts, but no one is actually posting their face and like they're talking and how they present themselves. So if we're going to go into social media, that was one of them. Another guy went up and he talked about how he keeps customers for life. And he was the opposite. He's not on social media. He doesn't do all that, but he was like top 20 in the world. So he was talking about how to create customers for life. And the way that he was doing it was by keeping notes of his clients. So he has an intense note section on his phone or in a CRM of just random notes of his clients, whether it's like their birthdays, their closing dates, their kids, if they just had a kid, or different celebrations that are happening. And then once a year, he contacts these people and he goes through his notes of things of the last thing he talked about. Maybe he talks to them on their birthday, but he's saying once a year contact is more than what 99% of agents are even doing. So you guys, are any of you guys in that boat where you got all these past clients and maybe you haven't talked to them even once in a year? Probably.
Yeah.
I'm going to say yes. So he was saying all he has to do is contact his clients once a year, whether it's their birthday. And he's like, I already know that I'm contacting them way more than any other agent is out there. So if you're in that boat, this may be something and you're not into like the social world, but maybe you like more traditional routes. Just once a year, he reaches out to his past clients, goes to the note section, reminds them of something that they spoke about, and then it builds that connection. He was also talking about, which I found interesting, he's got a guy in his area that was sending out like team of experts stuff. And he was putting like the electricians' numbers, the plumbers' numbers, and putting out like his exact team of experts on a piece of paper and mailing it out. And he's like, I will never do that. So what he does instead is he pretty much mails them out something saying, I have everyone that you could ever need, just call me and I will give you that person. So now he's got his clients that will reach out to him when they need a contractor, a renovator and all that, and he will give it to them. And then it gives him that opportunity to build that connection with them, as well as like kind of pass away his team of experts. So instead of just mailing out his entire list of contacts, he makes it known that he's got a big list, and then that's something that he gets people. He says, make the phone call. Don't send out branded knives or magnets anymore. Nobody cares. So he's like, make the calls, make the text. Your little calendar that's hanging up is not considered a touch point system. Make the call and say, happy birthday, whatever it is.
Did they text her okay?
He did say texts were okay, but he said, yeah, he's like, forget all these magnets and all these branded things that we think are going to remind them of us. Like everybody's doing that. So
to the magnet.
like he's like, forget the magnet. And half the time he's like, a lot of fridges these days don't even hold magnets. So it's kind of a waste. I don't know if you guys have ever put a magnet on your
Mine are on the
stainless
side
steel.
now.
They now go on the side.
Yeah.
That was one. And then Cameron spoke, who we'll talk about him, but he's gonna be doing our Fired Up event next week. He went on and talked about being your own client, which was a very different way of viewing this business, I thought. So instead, he was talking about how rich people are the type of people that like win the lottery once and then they lose all their money, whereas wealthy people are people that are passively rich. I don't know how good it is in our market, but he was talking about building your own portfolio, using your commissions, buying your own real estate, getting commission that way, and kind of becoming your own client and start to think of your business as not just out there trying to find outside clients, but also for yourself. So you can build a different type of income with your real estate license. So if you guys have questions on that, you can pick his brain next week, but he had a really good session on really how to get wealthy through your own purchases. So that was it. I'm not going to go too much on the Chris Leader stuff too much, but that was some of my big takeaways that I got last week. Some of the stuff I wanted to give you guys a heads up on. Next week we have Fired Up. I see a few faces in here that have not signed up for that. I know Fired Up sounds weird. What it is, it's a half-day training event. We're still figuring out the times, but it's going to be probably 9:30 to about 2 p.m., 2:30. So maybe a little bit more than a half-day event. We're going to be hosting it at the Cedar Brae Golf Course. So we're taking it off-site. It is all in person. It'll be a little bit more of a formal training. My heavy focus is going to be on listings. So Cameron's going to be talking about how to find clients, working your database, and then he's going to go into a listing presentation that he does. At the end, we're going to do some closing skills. So what to do when you're at the table, how to get that contract signed, different ways that you can say it, like with scripting and stuff like that. And then we might do a little bit more of an interactive objection handling. So these are a lot of the things that I've been getting questions on from people. So I thought this would be a really great time. We haven't done it since pre-COVID. All we've done is Christmas parties and awards parties. So I really wanted to throw a half-day training event for you guys that's more skill-based, more than marketing and stuff like that. It's going to be more heavy on prospecting and whatnot. So if you have not signed up for that yet, I do need to know, because we need to order coffee and chairs and all that good stuff. And if I have less people, then the setup's going to be different. But if I have full room, then the amount of chairs is going to matter. So if you're coming to that, please message us so I can keep track. I think we have over 100 people right now. I have room for 150. So if you haven't put your name in, please send that to me.
And on the 19th,
On-
timing will be like 9 a.m. kind of
Yeah.
that working hour.
Yeah, so March 19th, Tuesday next week. We're going to start it at 9, but the session doesn't start until 10. Please don't come at 10. Please come before 10.
The idea is to come at like 9:30.
First, we are starting at 10. I know most of my training sessions, I give you guys 15 minutes to settle in. We are not doing that because we have a paid room. So please come 9:30, be settled in by 10 o'clock so we can kind of get the day going. And then we'll announce awards. We do have awards. We haven't really talked about it, but I know Eid has been a big thing, and or Ramadan and all that. I know people are celebrating that. So awards is going to be April 22nd. So that everybody will be able to attend. So mark your calendars for that. We'll send more information on that as well, but April 22nd is our awards and you are all invited. I think that's all I got, right?
If you think of something, you can
If I
always
think of
pop back
anything.
in.
Yeah.
You're not going anywhere.
I'm not going anywhere. Okay, that's all I got.
Okay, I'll do a couple reminders, and then maybe Claire and I will do like a power hour like headlines. I know we've got a couple. So just a reminder, Treb has their new authentication system, which means you now get SMS text messages to log in. If you are traveling and you want to still be able to access Treb, you either have to have your roaming turned on so you can receive SMS text messages or call them in advance and get a temporary code. They'll set you up on an email code for that short term that you're away. I don't know why they can't just do the email all the time because it's kind of convenient, but just note that if you're going away. We had an agent that was so excited to work on the plane for like 5 hours because he bought Wi-Fi and was so excited to like get into Treb and do a bunch of work and realized he couldn't log into Treb because they were sending him SMS text messages. So even though you have Wi-Fi
yeah.
on the plane, you won't get an SMS text message. So if you want to work on Treb while you're away, call them in advance and get your temporary code set up. Yeah.
How will they send it?
I think they do it by email. Yeah, they set up some sort of temporary, they either do it like where it's, you get an email for that 1 or 2 weeks, or you get an actual code that you use temporarily for that 1 or 2 weeks.
Duration of the-
Yeah, you let them know how long you're gonna be away for.
Clarity done.
Yes.
Yeah.
She is done.
And that's, I think everyone's,
You can delete clarity from your app.
yeah, officially, I think everyone's been turned over. They did it in bulk timeframes, but yeah, I think
I
it's
still, I
done
still have
now.
my clarity on my
I
phone.
still have it too.
I'm not ready to get rid of it. I still click on it too. Every time I
Me
log
too.
in, I click on the app. I'm like, oh, yep, not that. Wait for my message. It's just like habit
Habit.
now. Yeah.
At least they put it in one page. The first one, you put your ID number and then you put your PIN number. When they first started, you had to put the ID and go to another page and put
Oh,
the
yeah.
PIN.
Oh, yeah,
And
you're
then
right.
another page and do the code, right?
Yeah.
No, I think now it's the same time you have to do that. So
Number.
No, well, you still have to go to you still have to go to the second screen to get to put your code in, right?
yeah.
Lots of fun. Everything's going to be two-step. I don't know who's trying to hack into your Treb system, but very secure, which is great. I've been getting a lot of questions on assignments. I feel sorry for you if you get an assignment listing almost. They are selling, which is good, but 2 things to check before you get all excited and sign your listing agreement. First of all, make sure that you're allowed to assign it. So double check your clauses in the agreements. Check that you're allowed to advertise it on MLS. 95% of the time, you're not allowed to advertise it on MLS, but some you are. And check that the brokerage or the listing builder doesn't have an exclusive listing brokerage already. So I've had some where they are mandated to use their own internal brokerage, and so you can't take a listing like that. So double check those 3 things before you get excited about taking an assignment listing. Once you've sort of passed those checks, come to me and let me know how to advertise it, or I can help you. Not a lot of them are selling for profit, but they are selling some of them, but they're challenging, especially condos.
So this is difficult. We had one there the other week there, but if you've got an assignment and the seller's losing money, so anybody had that situation?
Yeah.
Let's say they pay you $100,000 for a place and it's only worth, I don't know, 700,000, right? And they do the assignment for 700,000. That means the seller has to write the buyer $100,000 check.
Yeah, because you're buying the contract. You're still obligated by that contract to pay the builder the rest of the money you haven't paid yet. So you don't get out of that just because you sold it for a loss.
So that's a very interesting conversation with your client. If the client's losing money, you guys say, yes, we can do the assignment, but you're gonna have to give the buyer $50,000 for him to take over your contract. That might kill a deal right there,
In addition to giving up the deposit too.
right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, yeah.
That's one thing, yeah.
Deposit's gone, plus you have to give another.
All right. So everybody understand what I was talking about? No,
Yeah, they sell it at a loss, and a lot of people are doing this. So
I haven't
Yeah.
seen it yet.
I'm seeing rumblings of it. Yeah, so if you do need to advertise an assignment, you can use Broker Bay. So the girls just need your exclusive listing agreement, and then at least our own brokerage will get it, Broker Pocket, and there's a bunch of other like assignment WhatsApp groups and Facebook groups. So there's lots of ways to market it, but MLS really is king when it comes to that. So it's unfortunate that we can't do that. I'm not going to talk a lot about Tressa, just that we did update I call it your Bible now for your forms. We have printed ones here in the office. They're also on Google Drive and they're in WhatsApp. They're everywhere we can think of. That's your revision number 20 since Tressa was launched. The main changes, CCR was updated. It's more simple now. You have new listing agreements, new buyer reps. You have versions for brokerage rep, which will always default if we type them for you. Then they have a separate one for designated rep. We have new multiple rep consent forms for landlords and tenants. And the FinTrack form has changed. There is a rating system. I had someone call me on the weekend being like, do I really need to fill out this rating system? Like,
I just saw some.
We just saw Alex doing it.
So I looked over somebody's shoulder.
Feels like you're doing like one of those
Okay,
quizzes from the
just so you know,
Costco magazine.
FinTrack asked you guys before, is your client high risk, low risk, or no risk?
physically
What it
present,
says.
low risk. Right?
And they left it in the hands of the realtor to be completely subjective on how they're gonna fill that out. So they didn't trust the realtor, so now they've given you a checklist. And then you're gonna add up that checklist and go up with the score, and that'll tell you whether it's high risk or low risk.
That's right.
You can't lie on a checklist, right?
Nope.
Yeah.
And hopefully they don't live near an airport because they're gonna get 2
That is
points for
wild.
that. So that has changed. Receipt of funds has changed.
What were some of the questions there on that? Some of the questions are crazy.
Yeah.
Like, does your client live near an airport? Because if he does,
International airport.
that could be a
That's
high
a
risk.
risk.
It's not a
Someone-
full 10, but it's like a 2 or a 3, 2 point.
It's still 2 points.
Yeah. Have you worked with them before? Are they a known, like criminal? That's a 10 if you say yes to that one, by the way.
What do you consider the airport national?
I think
Probably
they,
Pearson.
I think I have no idea. I guess they assume that criminals who are
They travel?
like money laundering are close to the airport to be able to
Guys,
facilitate. I don't know.
Can you get the airport on-
Yeah.
I know lots of people
Quick
live near the airport. I
access,
have many clients that live near the airport.
What about like
but-
downtown Toronto? Like a lot of people are close to that airport. I don't know.
Uh,
Billy Bishop.
I mean, it's only 2, so it's still a low risk. It's if they live by an airport and they're a criminal already, and then the risk goes up.
If the property has been closed and it's done FinTrack, you have to redo the FinTrack?
No.
No.
These are just new, like call it March 1st going forward. Like ever since we updated the forms, you can use the new ones. The old ones are still technically compliant. These are just templates, right? But they evolve them based on the laws that happen from the government. So, receipt of funds also. So if you have somebody, let's say that gives it, maybe the parent gives a deposit for the kids, you have to identify that person also for FinTrack, but they've built it into your receipt of funds form. So if it's the same person that you've already identified, you don't need to fill that stuff out. But if it's someone different giving the deposit, you need to identify that
Which is
person as
interesting, 'cause
well.
we never really had to ask where the funds were coming from.
Kind of makes sense because
For mortgage brokers.
the whole point of FinTrack and receipt of funds is to trace the funds and where they're
I
going.
think
So,
the mortgage brokers.
not the deposit though. 'cause
Oh,
that
I guess
comes
the
from us.
deposit.
Yeah, so they're gonna do their FinTrack on the balance.
Great.
But, yeah. So I don't leave it till the end.
Both the parents and the person.
If they're giving them a
So
deposit.
if they're not on the offer, but they're helping them with the deposit, they need to be identified. If they're already in the offer and you've identified them as per FinTrack, you don't need to do it twice, but just if they're different than your main identification on FinTrack. Okay. I just want to welcome Lydia, so I don't save it to the end. Welcome Lydia. Your RICO did go through. I know you haven't seen it yet. We saw it on our end, so you'll probably get the email today and then we'll do your TREB, but your RICO's going through, so welcome.
That was fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're quick this time.
Yeah, we saw your approval. I don't know, take a day or something for them to click on. We talked about this a little bit before, but we just finally got some communication from corporate head office. You probably got this email as well, and I'm sure you didn't look at it, but it's regarding email spam and how all those rules are changing. I already mentioned before, they're cracking down on email spam. And your Century 21 domain is a workplace Google domain, but we have it shared across Canada, right? So all agents have that domain. So if somebody flags 3 out of 1,000 people from that domain as spam, it will affect the entire system domain. So don't mark your own emails as spam. If you don't like what corporate's sending you, don't mark it as spam, just like delete
Just
them.
ignore it.
But don't mark them as spam because it will and could impact the entire Century 21 system. And the main message is don't send mass marketing emails from your Gmail, like even your Century 21 email. You have to follow new rules, which requires you to identify the person. So dear so-and-so, you have to have an unsubscribe button as well. And a mass email could be any more than 6 emails. Like it's not that many. So apparently it started February 1st. We're still getting away with some mass emails, but I think as of April, they're going to really crack down on it. So if you're doing mass communication by email, use Hub 21, or you could use a free service like MailChimp, or there's many other CRM type email focused
HubSpot.
systems. So just make sure you're using something when you're sending out mass emails. So don't just do we used to do it for the whole brokerage, blind copied 400 emails and send it out. We'll get flagged for spam if we do that, even internally with you guys. We've been sending out our communication to you via Hub 21 as a result. So I don't know if you've noticed the format's changed a little bit. I don't love it, but it's the only way I think I can get a
Or
hold of
Broker
you
Bay.
with your personal emails, because we either have Broker Bay, which we found the readability is not that great because it says announcement at the beginning, so people get bored of that. So it doesn't look important anymore when you see it all the time. And then I could use your Century 21 emails because I have a Google list, but not everyone has that forwarded. Not everyone uses it. So I miss out on communicating with a lot of you. So we're using Hub 21 as well. You can too, but there's also other systems like MailChimp and stuff like that. So that's for mass emails.
Is anyone sending mass email?
Hub 21 is
You
awesome.
should,
We have
'cause it's a
tons of
really
campaigns.
good communication tool with your past clients and stuff, and I don't know. So if you're not doing mail outs and calling and texting and all that, email's like the most passive way that you guys can stay in front of people.
Yeah, we use it a lot in our business. We do it a variety of different ways. We do home evaluations, newsletter setups, just we try to stay away from the holidays and stuff like that now, but yeah, we do it a lot. I'm gonna jump into headlines, but I think, Killer, do you have some other stuff with Tressa related forms, that kind of stuff to wrap up quickly, or?
Okay, so just to repeat what Kari said, we do have a new 2024 Systems for Success, the flow sheet. So if you've got it copied someplace, there's a new version called March 2024, and it shows all the new stuff. For instance, just to recap there's no work with the realtor.
Whew.
It's been replaced
Well,
by,
we got rid of one, that's good.
it's been replaced by information guide. Because because there's no working with a realtor, we don't have anything in writing that says that you explain to them. So anything we have is information guide. So we're suggesting that you either use the Rico app to send them the information guide. The Rico app will confirm whether they open up the email or not, or get them to sign the acknowledge part of the information. So that'll cover you for that part, right? And the confirmation representation that now has a February 2024 version 2. So that's been changed as well, the confirmation, that form 320. So that's changed as well. Just make sure you're doing that as well. And then if you ever put in an offer on an office listing, you need to contact the agent. 99% of the time, that agent will be a broker rep. It will not be designated rep, but that 1% chance there may be a designated rep. So you need to talk to the agent when you register your offer, saying, are you a designated rep or is this an office rep?
And if they don't know, they have to check page 1 of their agreement, and it'll be on the line 3, or just ask me and some management team. You can send it to us. We can tell you. It's on your form of your agreement.
But if you're putting an offer, it doesn't really matter whether the other side is designated rep or not. If you are not a designated rep yourself, then it is multiple representation, and it requires the consent form, multiple representation, not the 320 form. Needs a separate form, consent form from the buyer and from the seller that they consent to multiple representation. Then you can do the form 320. It's all laid out on the sheet. You always call us if you're going to put an offer on the office listing, or if you're going to double end yourself.
And you can still do multiple rep, by the way. So don't think you can't do it. You have to do, there's just forms involved with doing it. So maybe 15 minutes left. We'll do a quick power headlines. I'll start them, and if you can add on and build up your story if you need to after. Or you're gonna turn it away from me. Okay, so just keep in mind, market stats came out, right? So all these headlines are just on the heels of February sales being up. Prices did not go down. If you notice, they kind of stabilized a little. Some of them went up even. So these are all headlines related to that. So this one is number of households missing mortgage payments soars alongside consumer business insolvencies. Sounds really scary if people are missing their mortgage payments.
And it's soaring.
Soars. So the average monthly payment on renewed mortgages rose by $457 per month. Okay, sounds like a lot, right? In Ontario and BC, they kind of took up the bulk of these increases. They were more than $680 per month in increases. But mortgage delinquency rates over the last 12 months saw a 52% increase. Okay, that sounds huge, right? But it went up from 0.09 to 0.14%. Okay, so this is the soaring rates. Yes, it was 50%, but it's still only 0.14%. Right? Yeah.
That's all across Canada.
That's across Canada, but Ontario and BC are taking up the bulk of that. So, I mean, the reality is people are missing their mortgage payments, right? So that is happening more and more. So even if it's not soaring right now from 0.09 to 0.14, it may be an increasing trend that we're going to see. So I think it's a good chance to reach out to your clients, actually, if they bought pre or post 2020, they bought high and they did a variable mortgage. You may want to reach out to them, see how they're doing.
Or people that are coming up on their 5-year renewal that might have a higher rate to get approved at now.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. So reach out to your clients, see if they're okay, and if they're not okay, you might be able to help them. It was interesting to see February stats because I don't know if you remember January. It kind of felt like it was getting busy again, like we were doing multiple offers and showings, but then the January results came out and the stats didn't show that. So I think February kind of finally shows what we were feeling in January. I don't know if you felt the same, but January didn't show that big increase, and then February all of a sudden is 17%. And that was kind of more of what was in line. And I think the message is, I think the stats follow consumer behavior about a month or two after. So even though we're all in it, feeling that, we don't see it in the stats until a couple of months later. So it'll be interesting to see what March brings. Top Toronto developer says the condo market is poised for a rebound. This one was confusing too. I don't know what your thought on it was, but they say poised for a rebound, but then the stats are so bad. So this guy's saying there's an excessive supply and a lack of demand, which we can see because there's tons of assignments available right now. Pre-con is like, I don't know, I get like 100 emails a day about pre-con and I'm offering crazy commissions and incentives. So I can see that something's happening.
Did you hear what the guy on Highland? There's a Highland condominium at Pickering. You familiar with that one? Anyways,
Highmark or
Highmark. They're offering, on top of the 5% commission they're offering $50,000 commission to the agent to either keep or give to their client.
On the top of the 5%.
Mhm.
On top of the 5% commission, they're offering $50,000 bonus, 50,000 bonus money to the agent, or the agent can give to their client. That way they don't have to reduce the price.
Yes.
They just want to build it. They just want
Follow
to.
me? Like they may have pre-sold some already and they don't want to reduce the price to those guys.
Yeah.
So they'll just give
So,
you
so
cash
rather
back.
than doing that, they're doing something under the table here. So
It's better
that
PR.
just tells me that it's a bad project.
Yeah.
What was the name again?
The agent's gonna give the.
Highmark.
It was Highmark and Pickering, and it was it's not a really well-known builder. Like Center Court's really well known. They've already sold out 2 towers in that one. But yeah, this was a smaller.
If you know
smaller
Pickering,
builder.
it's at where the old Knob Hill Farms used to be.
Different.
Anyways.
Anyways, I don't know if condos really are poised for a rebound yet because the stats don't show that yet. But what could happen is we see a slowdown in condos and then maybe it picks back up in 2025 when the rates and stuff are finally announced. GTHA condos under, I think it's supposed to say GTA housing area, under
Great-
500
Greater
grand,
Toronto.
Greater Toronto housing area, is what the H stands for. So they're just saying,
Street.
there's not many available under 500K. I don't know if you guys have seen under 500,000. Yeah, the
Hamilton.
Oh, Greater GTHA, Greater Toronto Hamilton area. I've never heard that. That's a new one. Anyways, they're becoming more scarce. Anything under 500,000. I can see it too. I mean, I haven't seen anything really between 500 and even
Other
under
than a condo, even condos are more than that.
even condos are more. Durham is more than that.
Other than Olive. Olive.
Olive.
Where's King Olive?
Parts in Oshawa, maybe. I know parts in like Downsview Park, maybe still under 500,000. But yeah, I mean, the average is just going up and up. So even right now, median home value in the GTHA is now just over $1 million, so $1,030,000 and 765 in all of Ontario. Getting more
What's scary is
expensive.
income is not going up with
Mhm.
these housing prices.
Same thing, more than half of the homes for sale in all 7 regions of GTA were listed for more than $1 million. So even that $1 million mark is kind of becoming the benchmark price of a house in the GTA area. Claire, you should talk about this one. You know this one better, but these property protectors want to occupy Toronto homes so owners can dodge taxes.
Okay, so this company here in Ajax, they come up with this idea, and there's always disruptors, right? There's always disruptors. So what they're doing, they find people that want to rent places, but not as a tenant. They just want to rent them. So what these guys do, they'll go to vacant properties, and right now in Toronto, for instance, if you've got $1 million assessed property, if it's vacant, they're going to pay $30,000 vacancy tax. So what these guys do, they go to that owner and they'll say, look, I'll put somebody in there so it's not vacant, but there won't be a tenant. You can get rid of them on 2 days' notice. And it's occupied. And they'll charge the guy $15,000 to do it. So the guy saves $15,000 and he puts a tenant in there that's not a tenant. He's just there under almost like an Airbnb, like a contract. So you can kick him out at any time. So they say, well, that's against the landlord tenant boards, and they say, no, it's not. They have proof. But anyways, that's what they're doing. And they're doing it so that the owner doesn't have to pay that vacancy tax.
For the vacancy tax, which also was extended, by the way, till March 15th. So you still have more time to ask your clients about that.
That was a funny one.
Interesting. This article is talking about how the LTB is not enforcing their order. So even though people are getting awarded, whether you're a landlord or tenant, but no one's actually enforcing the payment of these orders. So this tenant won $16K, was ordered from her landlord to pay her. He was somebody that sold the house, told her he was moving it to himself, sold it on the market. He got caught. She sued them. She got 16 grand, but he's actually never paid a penny of it. She asked LTB, when am I going to get my check? They said, we don't enforce the payment of it. We just make the order. Her now option is to go to small claims court.
Yeah, that's wild. Okay, I've
That's
never.
crazy.
Okay, so I've told everybody, if you go to court, okay, you go to court, there's two things in court. You go to court and you win the court. That's the first part.
That's
Second,
it.
second part, you gotta find it
Gotta
to get collected. So either the person's got a house, you can put a lien on their property, or they have a job that you can guarantee their wages, or you do something, but in any case, you can't just,
Don't just give you
you
money.
just can't go to the employer and say, I've got this order, pay me. You gotta go back to court and get a guarantee order.
You gotta
So,
hire.
so
somebody to-
LTV is exactly the same. Yes, the landlord has to pay the $16,000, but nobody's gonna force him until you guarantee his wages or put a lien on his property.
She's gotta hire a paralegal or a lawyer to go to small claims,
Oh.
and that 16K does build interest, but still to have the
In
energy.
this
to
case,
go
it's
out.
okay, because they can put a lien on that property real easy, but you still gotta hire somebody to do it. so.
But didn't they already sell the property?
Yeah.
They sold it.
Didn't they
or
sold
rented
it.
out?
They sold the property.
No,
she was
they
in,
sold it to
So they gotta
someone that
find
he was
where else
already
he
out.
lives.
Oh, okay, so they
Yeah,
gotta find another property.
Hopefully he owns a few.
that's fun.
That's interesting.
Toronto home prices inch up as buyers adapt to mortgage rate landscape. So you saw the prices, sales were up 17%, even prices kind of went up a little bit. And, people are saying it's a result of, the rate hike last week, held steady, and that people predict it's going to go down or hold for a little bit. So buyer confidence is up a little bit. So that's kind of what we wanted. We wanted more sales and we wanted prices to stay the same so more people could buy. So this is a good thing. It's all positive news, right? We have more listings to sell, which is good. Still seller's market though. 2 months of inventory is not very much, but it's a good thing.
At the end of the day, sometimes people are forced to move too. Like they're having babies, they're getting divorced, they're getting engaged, they're getting married. So sometimes the market isn't always a factor in why people are moving.
Yeah. We talked about this a little bit. We're going to wrap up soon anyways, but Canadian mortgage delinquencies surge up 135% in Ontario, according to Equifax. I was reading too, it's mostly people that bought after 2020 who are not able to make their payments, and it's mostly the younger generation of people. So it's the first time buyers who bought very high and over leveraged themselves, and it's those types of people who are not making their payments, and it's all BC and Ontario. So it's just kind of sad that the younger guys are suffering from that a little bit. Tax season is among us too, so I didn't bring the timing with me. Paige, can you remind me? I think it's paying by April, filing by June 15th. So you have to pay before you file. So if you're running late, you could pay a chunk of money so it's sitting there and then do your filing after. I recommend doing it ASAP at the same time. But yes, and all the T4s were emailed out and everything. I had a question on the weekend, what can you claim? As a real estate agent, so think about things you need to run your business and how to function your business. Those are the types of things that you can claim. So you can think about your RICO licensing, your TREB fees, your supplies, your pens, your marketing, your training, anything that you need to run your business, you can make a claim on. There's limits, of course, and your accountant will always guide you in that kind of stuff as well. But just keep that in mind when you're making your claim. And that was my quick fire headlines. It's almost 1:42.
And then Chris today talked about different ways of marketing and motivation and how to change things down. And he's talking about farming as well. And we talked about that for the last couple of things. I got this on my door. Doesn't really matter who it is, but it's just something on my door. And they listed a property in the neighborhood, but this door hanger just has the name of the person. Says, okay, I'm the queen of the world.
In those exact words, it's exactly what it says. It's for Canva template.
And on the back is the other picture, but it says here, how are the changing bank rates affecting the value of your home? Call me, right? Or ask me. And it says here, book for in-person or a Zoom consultation.
Nice.
So Katelyn's on the thing right now, where he's talking about introverts, saying that people don't want to talk on the phone. So
Or have a 2-hour meeting.
They don't even really want you in their house
It's
sometimes.
one of the answer, right? So what they're saying here is that I'll give you a free market analysis. You don't have to talk to me. Or I'll give you a free market.
I'll need to come
I won't come over. So people kind of like that, right? So they've sort of caught on to it too. They're saying book an in-person or a Zoom consultation. But my point is that this agent has probably 500 of these in their car. They're not related to a property.
Evergreen.
It's evergreen. There's no dates on it. There's no property, nothing. So when this person's in the neighborhood or they list a property in the neighborhood, they've got a box of these ready to go. They just
Yeah.
get out the car and they knock on the door and away they go.
Well,
They'll probably
actually,
do it after the house sells too.
yeah,
Alright.
actually, I heard that this was delivered on a guy on a scooter. So that'd be kind of fun looking at these guys in front of me if you're like
some
doing some door
rollerblades
knocking.
out.
They're on like literally a little electric scooter. That'd be kind of fun. And I think stands out. You remember that too, but it'd be quick.
So I've been saying this for a while now, just pick a little townhouse, a little 300-400, whatever else, just something that you can go back to the well when you're not, you know, you got some time in your hand, just something just to do. And these are all pre-done. It's don't, you know.
You can pay people or
no
get
thoughts.
volunteers. You don't even have to pay for it. You can get your kids to do it.
But you have to do it over and over. You can't just do
You
something
do
like that
one.
once when you have the listing and then people won't remember. You have to do it consistently over and over. Okay, anyone have listings or anything you want to talk about before we start, Scott?
The two properties,
Okay,
the 3 acre, modest home, 3 acres, and city.
okay, for online, it's 3 acres, 849, and where is it?
It's north of Coburg.
North of Coburg. Okay,
It's a nice.
it's on MLS already or
On MLS.
Okay.
yeah.
3 acres, 850 is not bad.
79 Montgomery Road,
Okay,
and just listed another place in Greater Napanee. It's a detached 3-bedroom, 449.
okay, that's Greater Napanee, 3 bedrooms, 349?
449.
449, still, there's under 500K.
So you can't get a condo for under $500,000, but you can get a
Yeah,
Go to
freehold for.
Napanee.
yeah, I'll just go further out.
Bit of a hike, but
Yes.
it's actually some real property.
Okay, cool. Okay, thanks, Scott. Anyone else have anything? Oh, yeah.
Access, visible on this.
Access what?
Access FISBOs.
There is a FISBO list, apparently.
We're not gonna use-
Used to
I
be
heard
some-
they went out of business too,
used to be a
actually.
company called Mace, but they're out of business. The other one would be the one from the States called Red something there. Who's the Mike Ferry's company?
Is it Canadian listing though?
They have Canadian stuff too.
What about would like Facebook Marketplace?
I was gonna say, like, you might have to be a little bit more manual too and go on Kijiji and Facebook Marketplace and just see if anyone's listed properties. Usually they're real estate agents, but I mean, you can try and see if one of them happens to be an owner, but,
Yeah, if I see a list, I'll let you know.
or driving by, you might see signs.
Yeah. Yeah, fair.
A little tougher sell, but I was at a US conference too, so it might be a little bit more common for FISBOs. They were talking about expireds and all that stuff too, which of course
You're
you
like-
can't do as well. So there's a little bit of stuff I couldn't pull away from it.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, if anyone online knows of a FISBO list, let us know, we'll share it.
I mean, I know there's a FISBO list. It's called PG Realty.
But
Well-
they must be limited service
They're,
reps
they're
now.
called, they're
Don't-
called
that's
mere,
not-
Oh, that's gone now.
they're called mere posting.
It's called a mere posting.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they have an agreement to list it on MLS, but.
That's the extent of it.
Also, I have House Sigma. They're also the MLS.
Well, House Sigma's a brokerage.
Yes,
The broker.
They're just really smart and also
Yeah.
have an app.
yeah, so they have an actual feed that takes it from MLS, that's how they get their listing.
Yeah, House Sigma used to just be an app that was just data, and then they realized they could get leads from it, and then they become a real estate brokerage. So they're out there listing properties now.
Yeah, I seen something pretty unique last week. My client sent me a property that was like 100 to 200K lower than regular properties in the area.
Yeah.
And it was a condominium conversion to where now it's an owner instead of an apartment
Okay.
building.
Mhm.
And so what happened was when the condominium was converted in Ontario, whoever's living in that property gets a life lease.
Oh.
So you can't kick them out as long as they're paying rent on time. Can't say, oh, family members moving in or this or that. As long as they're paying rent on time.
Yeah.
They can stay forever. And so the rent was pretty low. And so the agent was selling it under the pretense that once they leave, you can sell it for 100K.
I see, but he's just trying to get it
Yeah,
sold.
so my client was pretty pissed.
Yeah. He thought he was getting
Interesting.
a deal, I guess.
Where was that?
Miss Saga.
Saga.
Have you ever seen that before?
I've seen life leases.
But the conversions, yeah.
Hmm.
Interesting. Thanks for sharing. Okay, anything else? Have a good week. We'll see you at Fired Up on March 19th.
We'll see you Monday.
If you're not on the list, Caitlin's gonna be contacting you.
I have a list.
Yeah, I guess we have one more meeting. so
Yeah,
you
I think Cam's actually gonna be here for the Monday meeting, so you guys can meet him there, and then, yeah, Tuesday will be the event.
Have a great week, everybody. Thank you.